Hi there, it's Debbie from celestialastrologyhealing.co.uk, and today I'd like to talk about the forthcoming full moon in Capricorn on Monday, the 3rd of July at 12:38 British Summertime GMT. That's -1 hour, and you would have to adapt that for where you are in the world based on your zone time. So the sun will be at 11 degrees Cancer, 18 minutes, and always, because we're in the season of Cancer, we've just had that summer solstice. Always there's only one full moon in the opposite sign, and that is in Capricorn, which is going to be at 11 degrees Capricorn, 18 minutes. This is called a supermoon because the moon is the closest to the earth. So the energies and that sort of pull and that pull, like how the oceans are pulled and how the effects of the moon can affect us internally on an inner level, an emotional level, will be extra strong during this time. So what we can also think about is when the moon was new in Capricorn, which means going back to the 23rd of December 2022, thinking about if you had intentionally planted seeds of new projects or new beginnings, intentions, and this is the full moon where things come to their fruition point, where they come to a head, where they're illuminated in full view, and it's almost like an ending point from that new moon in Capricorn on the 23rd of December 2022. So the question could be, are you happy with what you've brought to fruition, what's come into full light, what's been illuminated, and what's been harvested at this time? So let me just show you an image that I quite like. Or maybe I didn't pause the recording. Okay, so here's a picture of the archetypal sea goat, which represents Capricorn in a legendary capacity. It's quite an unusual character. Not quite sure why he's got the body of a mermaid or a waterborne creature, because Capricorn is a cardinal yin, as in receptive, earth sign, ruled by Saturn, the Kronos, Lord of Time, the most distant planet that the ancient ones could see with the naked eye. So sometimes Capricorn is represented by a mountain goat as well, because mountain goats can live on really dangerous precipices, really steep angles with hardly any vegetation that they can survive on very little. So that's very typical of Saturnian type energies that Capricorn represents. So I just wanted to share that image with you. And this is the glyph of the symbol of Capricorn. So let me see if I can share something else. Stop that share, and I'll share the screen of the chart of the full moon. So here is a chart of the full moon on the 3rd of July 2023. As I was saying, it's at 12:38 British summertime in Scotland, in the UK. And I'll just use my annotate tool to point out a few things. This sometimes can be a bit of fun and games that I'm not great at doing, but anyway, here we go. Signs of the Zodiac around the outside wheel. I'm probably preaching to people that don't need to know, but if you are new to astrology, the glyphs are the signs of the Zodiac that go around anti-clockwise around the outside wheel here, like the positions on a birthday cake, starting at the spring equinox, Aries, the symbol of the ram, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. And at this full moon, the moon is always opposite the sun. So we're in this Cancerian season of spring, just past summer solstice, and the sun is now at 11 degrees Cancer, 18 minutes. And you can see the moon is directly opposite at 11 degrees Cancer, 18 minutes. So you only get one new moon throughout the year in the sign of the Zodiac. So we had that new moon on the 23rd of December in Capricorn, because the sun and the moon were in the same sign. And when the moon is full, the sun and the moon are in opposition. So when we think about the moon in Capricorn, the moon is in the furthest distance away from the house or the temple of Cancer that she naturally rules. The moon rules Cancer. The moon is now in exile far away from home, in the opposite sign of Cancer, in Capricorn, in a place which is known in astrological terms as being in detriment. So there's a sort of coldness and a bit of more pragmatic outlook when the moon is in Capricorn, because Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, who disposits the moon with that more cooler, boundaried, disciplined, limited in that outward expression of warmth, because Saturn is the most distant planet of the solar system as viewed by the ancient ones. So represents boundary, limitation, coldness, death, decay, endings. But at a full moon, that's when things come into fruition. But sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult to navigate the emotions in Capricorn, because it's a more pragmatic and logical sign of the zodiac. But at the same time, Kronos, Lord of Time, Saturn, who rules Capricorn, he helps us recognize limitations or what's missing and how we can plan ahead to achieve things that are more concrete for the future, using and being resourceful, using our skills. So let's just think about what else is going on in this chart at this time, because we also have the co-presence of Pluto, which is a very slow-moving planet here. Oops, like that. That's another example of me being challenged by using this annotate tool. Here we go. Pluto has just gone retrograde back into Capricorn on the 12th of June 2023, after dipping his toe into Aquarius on the 23rd of March 2023. So Pluto is one of the most distant planets of the solar system, discovered in the 30s, a time of hardship, toil. Things were really difficult in society. The recession was there. So there's a connotation of Pluto. When planets are discovered, whatever's going on in society is also given as a representation of what this planet represents in a natal chart or in a birth chart. And Pluto is also Hades, god of the underworld. He raped, and after abducting Persephone from the earthly realms when she was picking flowers in the field, took her to the underworld and introduced her to the pleasures of the body, some hidden, dark, taboo secrets that are hidden away. Also, Pluto represents treasures that are hidden, secrets, taboo things that can come to the surface. So on this archetypal level, Pluto can represent power, finding power, using your own power, or power struggles with others. So it would depend on when this Pluto, where this Pluto in Capricorn, or the moon in Capricorn house is for you. If you like what I share, could you please consider subscribing to my channel so that I'll do more offerings of my astrological knowledge, which is a great passion for me. So if you can click the subscribe button, that would be wonderful. Like and put a comment in the bottom if you have anything that resonates with you, or just you would like to discuss, because it's great to share the astrological banter with the world so that we can all benefit from it. So just digressing off there. So Hades took away Persephone to the dark underworld, where he fell in love with her, wanted her to become his wife. Not sure if she fell in love with him, maybe she did, I'm not sure. But Demeter, the earth goddess, she was distraught at the loss of her only daughter, and she turned the earth barren. So it's that sense that everything dies and decays and there's no sense of life, until they made a pact where Persephone returned to the earthly realms. That's when spring and summer bloomed again, and when she returned to the kingdom where Hades, Pluto, god of the underworld, was, that's where all that sense of decay and endings are. So there's a sense of where Pluto is in your natal chart, of this representing tying up these ends while he's back in Capricorn, before he finally moves into the house of Aquarius, which will be on the 20th of November 2024. He will be dipping his toe back and forth for a little while yet. Where are we? On the 10th, 11th of October, he stations direct at 27 degrees Capricorn, 53 minutes. So he'll be going back a couple of degrees here. And then on the 21st of January 2024, Pluto will ingress for the second time back into Aquarius. So anything that you noticed happening around the 24th of March 2023, big shifts in your life, you might be revisiting these feelings of warp, transformations, regenerations, new beginnings, letting go of certain patterns from the past might be significant for you. And then on the 3rd of May 2024, he stations retrograde at 2 degrees Aquarius 6 minutes, and then retrogrades back in on the 2nd of September into Capricorn. And then finally, on the 20th of November 2024, Pluto will ingress back into the house of Aquarius for 19 years. That's how long he takes to go through a sign. So it's really helpful if you can look up, if you know your time of birth, you need your date, place, and time of birth to know which house Capricorn and Aquarius are for you with this Pluto dynamic shifting signs, because this can be very significant for you over the next period of time, this slow moving planet. And in the sense of how Pluto and Capricorn affects society as a whole, Capricorn represents things like old structures, banking, authority from the top down, royalty, government, people that are in power, quite often with that abuse of power, where there's suffering and there's some people that have got an imbalance of wealth and there's others struggling. But when Pluto moves back into Aquarius, there's a sense of community coming together from the grassroots up, supporting, using everybody's skills and collaboration in a new way forward. And also Pluto and Aquarius is going to be about a lot of AI and how this new technology will affect us as human beings and the world at large. So I'm now going to briefly go over these houses, rising signs, and where this full moon in Capricorn with the sun in Cancer may be affecting different signs of the zodiac. So let me just end this share. This will be very brief. So if you don't know your rising sign, then you can have a look below at the software that you can work it out using astro.com. I've got a video on my blogs page as well where you can do this. So if you are an Aries ascendant, the first sign of the zodiac, we'll start there, or Aries sun, if you don't know your time of birth, the moon will be in your 10th house of praxis, directly above in public sight. It's going to be a really obvious place. So this place is where you are seen to do things in the public eye. It can be about your reputation, your social status. It's bringing things to a head there in Capricorn in your 10th house. At the same time, the moon is in the opposite sign of Cancer, which is more about home life, family, your roots, ancestry, and related to your parents. So there's some dynamics there that are really coming to the fore at this full moon in Capricorn Aries. Moving on to Taurus ascendant. Taurus, your moon will be in the 9th house opposite the sun in the 3rd house. So the 9th house is about higher mind, your belief system, things that make you understand purpose in life. It's either through spiritual, religious pursuits, or widening your mind through travel and other cultures or further education. Things like that could be coming to the fore in the 9th house, opposite the 3rd house of your local environment where Cancer is, which is more about the home base, family, people that you care for in your home life. So this dynamic is working across these axes. And an opposition is the nature of Saturn, and Saturn is, the Lord of Time. So there's this tug of war energy at a full moon with the sun and the moon there. So it's trying to find that fulcrum point, the balance that you can feel centered and feel grounded to cope with these challenges at the full moon. And certain people will find this more pronounced than others, especially if you're a cardinal sign of the zodiac, Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer. So Gemini ascendant or Gemini sun, the 8th house is where the Capricorn full moon will be, and the sun will be in the 2nd house of Cancer. So this is talking more about the dynamics, about finances, and karmic debt, things that you share with others, money from others, how you balance these things. And the second house is about your sense of your own resources and your own skills to make your own money in life. So there's this dichotomy here of pulling, working out, is this a good balance? What I bring to the table, if you're within a relationship, of course. If you're not, it could represent money that comes from others through inheritances, rebates, taxes, things like that. It's also a house of anxiety and fear and related to death. So it could be bringing certain things to the fore around those topics for your Gemini ascendants. So Cancer ascendant or moon, Cancer ascendant or sun, the moon will be strong for you across the 7th house of Capricorn related to personal relationships and the 1st house of yourself, your self-expression. So this is a very dynamic energy for you, Cancer ascendants or sun, because this is right across your sense of self-expression and your sense of balance within relationships. So they can be personal relationships of the romantic type, or they can be relationships within your business world. If you work with others in a role where you are, for example, a teacher or a counselor, it's about relationships of all sorts that are very personal. So there is a dichotomy here of finding the balance and the fulcrum point within those relationships. So moving on to Leo, Leo ascendant or Leo sun, these will be happening in the 6th and 12th houses. The moon will be in Capricorn in the 6th house, and the sun will be in Cancer in the 12th house. So in ancient astrology, these houses were known to be slightly difficult places. The 6th house is the house of Mars's joy, and the 12th house is the place of Saturn's joy. And these are both malefic planets, Saturn being the greater malefic planet and Mars being the lesser malefic planet. So there can be challenges for you, Leo, around health. The 6th house is about your own health. It can be your physical health. It can be your mental health. It's things coming to a head at this time of the full moon in Capricorn. And there can be triggers, and the sun in the 12th house wants to be more private, more hidden away. So there can be challenges for you, Cancer, to pay attention to nurturing yourself, maybe behind the scenes, retreating in some way at the time of this full moon to process things that are maybe coming to the fore and feeling quite powerfully strong and affecting you on an emotional level. So moving on to Virgo, ascendant or sun, the moon will be in your 4th house. 5th house, which is the house of Venus's joy. So sorry, I'll repeat that. Virgo, ascendant or sun, the moon will be in your 5th house, which is Venus's joy. And your sun will be, the sun in Cancer will be in the 11th house, which is Jupiter's joy. So this is a bit of a lighter placement here, this opposition in these houses where the moon represents pleasures in the house of Capricorn. So it's about using your own resources, because Capricorn is about being really useful and quite practical. What pleasures can you bring to the fore using your own skills? What things bring you pleasure? How do you enjoy yourself in life? Opposite the house, which is more related to relationships and tribe, pleasures and group activities. It's finding that balance there, Virgo, across those axes of the 5th and the 11th house. But there should be a sense of some lightness with pleasures being highlighted, and the 11th house is hopes and wishes as well. And it can be about finances, because it's the 2nd house from the 10th house. So it could be about money from finances and how you can work on that. So moving on to Libra, ascendant or sun. Libra, this will be happening, and it'd be quite powerful, I would imagine, because you're one of the cardinal signs of the zodiac. The moon in Capricorn will be in your 4th house, which is related to your home and your family, your roots, the land and property. Might be a time where you're thinking about setting down roots and making something more permanent for the long term. So if you're one of the younger generation or even older, it might be related to wanting to set up home, put down things, put down money, something permanent that can give you that sense of security for the future. And maybe you've got to a point in your life where you can use your own skills. And then it's opposite the sun in the 10th house, which is about your self-expression in the public world of praxis there, probably your career life if you have a career. And so, yeah, that could be quite prominent for you there. So moving on to Scorpio ascendant or sun. This will be happening across the axis of the 3rd house, where the moon will be in Capricorn, and the 9th house, where the sun will be in Cancer. So again, it's about moon in the local environment. The moon is in your neighborhood, this Capricorn house of around your home, in the neighborhood, short journeys, teaching, learning, using the internet, skills around what you have as your own resources to use in your local environment. It's also about journeys, short journeys. It's also about siblings. So maybe there could be something coming up, Scorpio, around your siblings or aunts and uncles. It was the house in ancient astrology known as the house of the goddess. So it can be about friends as well that you treat as family. But siblings, aunts and uncles and friends in your local environment, with that Capricorn moon highlighting things that are coming to the fore, and the sun is in the 9th house, the higher mind, further travel. Maybe you've been doing a lot more studies to improve your ambitions in life, to make sense of gaining more knowledge and wisdom, perhaps. So Sagittarius sun, or actually ascendant, this moon will be happening in the house axis of the 2nd and 8th house, the moon in Capricorn in your 2nd house and the sun in Cancer in your 8th house. So it's similar to the Gemini axis because they're opposite. We're talking about your sense of self-worth, how you make finances, how you create your security using your skills in that 2nd house, which is about what you can do to make a sense of permanence in life, using those skills, creating finances for the future. And also it brings in the sun in the 8th house, how you share that with others if you're in a relationship, what they do for you, what you do for them, in the sense of karmic debt. The sun in the 8th house can be the house of fears because it's related to death and anxieties, but it's also about mysticism, finding other ways to deal with fears through understanding that there's other realms that can support you. And this earthly 3D realm isn't just the only realm that exists by any means, although it's good to be grounded, but aware that we can shift and grow and evolve as human beings, apparently becoming more like light beings, if you listen to certain astrologers. So that was Sagittarius. Moving on to Capricorn ascendant or Capricorn sun. This is going to be a dynamic house for you because the full moon will be in your 1st house. The 1st house is Mercury's joy. You're at the helm of the ship. You're more in control. What's coming up about you expressing you at this time of the full moon? What can you show to the world? What have you, what's the word, gestated, when you planted seeds, what's coming out in your self-expression, the way that you present yourself to the world? What wisdom have you got to share? What masteries have you gleaned now? Because this 1st house is about your self-expression and your body. And also just to say, Capricorn, that the sun will be in your 7th house of relationships as well, which this will happen every year. In fact, at this time of year, when we've just passed the summer solstice and wherever the full moon is in Capricorn, you'll be having to face that sort of sense of balance within relationships, your self-expression, your sense of self-worth within relationships. So I hope that's interesting for you and helpful. Moving on to Aquarius ascendant, or your sun if you don't know your time of birth. This moon in Capricorn will be in one of the more tricky houses, as it's the house of Saturn's joy, the 12th house, the hidden house, the house of retreat, privacy, secrecy, and the sun will be in the 6th house of Cancer, which is Mars's joy. So again, it's about those malefic planets. But it's also an opportunity to have a bit of time away for self-reflection, for seeing what's coming up for you on a personal level, on an emotional personal level, where you're dealing with those things in the 12th house, which is the most furthest away place from the 1st house. So, it can be sometimes difficult to navigate, but there could be some big, deep feelings come into fruition in that area of your life. So this time of reflection can be really therapeutic and healing for you, Aquarius. Risings or sun sign, and the sun will be in the opposite house, the 6th house. So it's about daily life, rituals, and your physical health, your mental health, doing things probably in a very caring nature, because it's that sign of Cancer, which is very nurturing to others. So it's finding that sense of balance, because the moon also represents your body, so that you can be healthy, taking time for yourself in a bit more of a private, inward, introverted way, or in places of privacy and recuperation at the time of this full moon. And finally, Pisces, thanks for waiting. The last sign of the zodiac, Pisces ascendant or Pisces sun. The moon for you, Pisces, will be in the 11th house, and the sun will be in the 5th house. Yeah, so Aquarius, the sun in the 6th house. About that, we were talking about the moon in the 11th for Pisces ascendant, or if we want, that's what I'm talking about now. Sorry about this. So Pisces ascendant or Pisces sun, the moon will be in the 11th house of Jupiter's joy, which is a house of hopes and wishes, bringing fruition to hopefully your dreams, coming to this peak at this time. And the sun will be in the opposite house of Venus's joy, the 5th house of Cancer. So these energies are quite positive areas of recreation, fun, pleasures, enjoyment, and bringing certain things to the fore. And Pisces, you're generally a very creative force anyway, that fluidity of the mutable water sign of the fish. So this is a potentially a really lovely full moon for you. Yeah, so I hope that's helpful, bring in your dreams and things that you can do in community. The moon is in the house of allies, friends, benefactors, people that are helpful to you. And it also can reflect the money from your career, because it's a derived 2nd house from the 10th house, Pisces ascendant or sun. So hopefully, if this resonates with you, that's great. If it doesn't, it could be that some of the other planetary energies in the heavens are being more dominant, like the Pluto energy, and there's all the other planetary placings. I'm covering my back here. This is quite new for me to go through the signs of the zodiac. So if there are any things that do resonate for you based upon your rising or sun sign, leave a comment below if you like. And just to say, I will hopefully do some more videos, and I'll definitely do one for the next new moon, which will be in Cancer on the 17th of July 2023 at 1932 British summertime here, GMT, -1 hour, and you'd have to adjust that for your time zone. So at this time of full moon, when you look at that light, that luminescence, the beauty, the reflection from the sun energy to the moon, reflecting that bright luminescence of love, let's send out the positivity to the world so that we can all resonate at a higher frequency from a place of support, love, and kindness. That's always a good one, I think, to connect with others using that Aquarian nature, where the Pluto moving into Aquarius in November 2024 will help us all shift into that sense of we can work together, supporting each other, improving life, sharing all of our skills. So happy full moon in Capricorn, and thanks for listening. Bye for now.